Secretary of State Marco Rubio is making headlines after delivering a blunt message about America's role in the Western world.
For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history. What we want is a reinvigorated alliance that recognizes that what has ailed our societies is not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency. The alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear. Fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future.
Rubio said the United States has no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. The statement reflects a broader argument from the Trump administration that America should put its own national interests first and reject policies it believes could weaken the United States or its allies. Rubio's remarks are now fueling a larger debate over America's leadership, Western security, immigration, and the future direction of the Western alliance. And now we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Rubio that America should put its national interests and the strength of the West first? Yes or no? Tell us your answer in the comments. Now, to severe weather and breaking conditions across the U.S. and overseas. In California, the Woodside fire continues to burn as firefighters work to contain the flames. Video from the scene shows just how intense the fire has become, with crews battling the ongoing threat. Meanwhile, the Northeast is preparing for another round of rain as the weekend comes to an end. Some areas are facing a level 2 out of 4 flash flood threat Sunday into Monday, raising concerns about dangerous flooding. Severe storms also moved across parts of the Ohio Valley and into Alabama, with damaging winds among the biggest threats as storms developed. And overseas, a magnitude 4.5 earthquake struck Italy, triggering reports of building collapses, landslides, and rock slides, with at least 26 people injured. Dramatic footage captured the moment the earthquake hit. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think severe weather and natural disasters are becoming a bigger threat and communities need to be better prepared? Yes or no? Tell us in the comments. Breaking in Europe, a major migration crisis has erupted in Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta, where authorities say nearly 60,000 migrants crossed from Morocco, many swimming around border barriers. Officials now report at least 67 deaths, with autopsies planned to determine the causes. More than 48,000 migrants have since returned to Morocco, although officials say the border remains under pressure. Businesses in Ceuta have closed, while residents faced severe disruption. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says Spain is mobilizing resources and working with Morocco and international partners. The crisis is also fueling wider debate across Europe over border security and migration policy. Breaking from Ukraine, Russia launched a major overnight barrage of ballistic missiles and drones against Kiev, killing at least 9 people and injuring 22, Ukrainian authorities said Saturday. Residential and commercial buildings were damaged, with fires reported across several districts. Emergency crews evacuated residents from a damaged 5-story apartment building, while officials reported additional casualties in the Darnitsky district. Russia said it targeted Ukrainian military, industrial, and logistics facilities. The attack comes just 2 days after another major Russian strike killed at least 10 people across Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky is again pressing Western allies for additional Patriot missile defense systems. In soccer tonight, UEFA says it has lost confidence in FIFA President Gianni Infantino following the collapse of his controversial plan to create a commercial company and sell minority stakes tied to FIFA competitions, including the World Cup, to private investors. UEFA says the proposal lacked transparency and that no option should be off the table as it conducts a full review of FIFA's leadership and governance. The plan, which FIFA ultimately abandoned after widespread opposition, was designed to raise billions for global football development. The dispute could now put significant pressure on Infantino ahead of FIFA's 2027 presidential election. In Washington, disgraced former Congressman George Santos has agreed to pay $35,000 to settle a federal investigation into suspicious trading activity on the prediction market platform Kalshi. The investigation focused on whether Santos improperly traded contracts tied to political events, using information connected to his former position. The settlement resolves the federal inquiry without necessarily establishing wrongdoing. Santos, who represented New York before being expelled from Congress in 2023, has faced multiple legal controversies since leaving office. The agreement adds another chapter to the former congressman's ongoing legal troubles and renewed scrutiny over political figures participating in prediction markets. This is a major crackdown, Sewat. The FBI says Operation Blackout has disrupted major international scam compounds targeting Americans, with authorities seizing more than $8 billion in cryptocurrency and arresting nearly 300 suspects. Officials say the operation also helped free nearly 2,000 trafficked workers, while more than 7,000 satellite internet terminals used by suspected scam networks were shut down. The FBI says the compounds operated as organized criminal enterprises involved in fraud, money laundering, and human trafficking across multiple countries. The figures underscore the enormous scale of the global scam economy and the growing federal effort to dismantle these networks. Meanwhile, in Kiev, large demonstrations have been reported in Ukraine's capital, with protesters expressing anger toward President Volodymyr Zelensky and calling for political change. Videos circulating online show crowds gathering in Kiev, although the scale and circumstances of the demonstrations should be independently verified. Claims that Russian forces have never attacked civilian gatherings are disputed and conflict with extensive reporting by international organizations documenting Russian attacks that have killed and injured civilians during the war. The demonstrations come as Ukraine continues to face Russian missile and drone strikes, while political tensions remain high over the government's wartime policies and the country's future. Election Watch, Republican activist Scott Presler is raising fresh concerns about non-citizen voter registration while speaking at the York State Fair in Pennsylvania. Presler pointed to New Jersey, where Governor Mickey Sherrill recently disclosed that a software error mistakenly registered roughly 6,600 non-citizens to vote between 2023 and 2024. State officials said fewer than 400 of those individuals later cast ballots. Sherrill said the registrations resulted from a motor vehicle system error and ordered an investigation and removal of the affected registrations. The episode is fueling renewed debate over voter roll accuracy and election safeguards. In Washington, former Olympian David Hearn has pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to alleged vandalism at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool in Washington, D.C. Prosecutors accuse Hearn of damaging the pool's liner, which had been installed during recent renovation work. The charges could carry significant prison time if he is convicted. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro has indicated that prosecutors have evidence supporting the case, but Hearn remains presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. The case is drawing political attention because the renovations occurred during the Trump administration, with supporters calling for strict punishment and critics emphasizing due process. Across Europe tonight, videos circulating online are being used to make sweeping claims about migrants and crime, showing scenes described as looting or property damage. However, the specific location, timing, and identities of the people shown should be independently verified before drawing broader conclusions. The suggestion that migrants as a group are invading Europe or that the absence of women and children proves criminal intent is not established by the footage alone. European countries continue to debate migration, border enforcement, asylum policy, and public safety as authorities respond to large migration flows. The political argument has also become a major issue in discussions about America's own border policies.